for a couple minutes. You guys know I do this every Monday through Friday between the hours of, well, you know what? I've been saying between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 noon, but we may do that a little different. I don't know, but I'm still doing some market research, trying to work out the kinks of when I want to do this. But anyway, without, I don't need to go into all that. But anyway, this is my daily check-in, right? So as you can see, I got me a new little, logo right here or whatever that is. I don't know what the heck that is, but anyway, this is my new little daily check-in. It's a routine, and with social media, you got to establish a routine, right? You just can't, do it every now and then. You got to be consistent, and I always say that, right? If you guys have heard me before, you guys know that it's all about consistency, right? So that's what I try to do. I try to be as consistent as I can, because it won't work without that, right? So once again, I'm Russell of Hotels. Russell Edmond is my real name, but I go by Russell of Hotels. I'm a hospitality entrepreneur, which consists of what is I can't even read, right? Hospitality, being a hospitality personality. I have a show called On Air with Russell of Hotels. Comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. You can't be a personality. You cannot have a show and do all these things online without being somewhat of a personality or having somewhat of a personality, right? So hopefully I bring that. I do hospitality content creating. I call it being a brand show off, right? So if you look at any of the postings that I do in some of the lives I do, it's about creating content. It's about showing off other brands, right? If it's not my brand, it's someone else's brand. It can be the Level Hotel brand downtown LA. It can be whatever local hotels around here or the hotels that I happen to go to. Make it my office of the day. I always make it a point to make sure I show off those brands too, right? So that's what I mean when I say brand show off. My job is to show off brands so you know about the brand, right? You know about that particular hotel. And remember, regardless of what sign is on the building, they're all individual brands, right? So say there's a Marriott hotel and there's two Marriott within the same area, one across the street from the other. Each one is its own brand, right? Because each one has its own marketing part, right? So you just can't market both of them at the same time because they're two different brands. They have two different addresses. One's here, one's there. One may be 300 rooms, one may be 150 rooms. And the difference sometimes is the people that are involved in there, right? So it's same brand, but you got different people. So it can't be the same. It can't be it can be similar, but not the same, if that makes sense. Then also I do hotel site selection. So I assist companies and organizations with finding that right hotel for their meeting, their events, their convention, their conferences. 10 rooms or more is considered a group. I do, group rooms of 10 on peak night up to 650. Well, that's what I've done. I'll do more if that's what it calls for. But I've done as many as 650 on peak. So there you go. Come with a wealth of experience. I mean, I call myself a hospitality personality, but that doesn't come without a wealth of experience. 14 different hotels over 25 to 30 years. So, and a lot of different positions in there too, right? Start off in housekeeping, kind of work my way up to general manager, then director of sales and marketing, then back down to, the pinnacle was the hotel general manager, but that wasn't my cup of tea, right? But so I went back down. If you want to call it going back down, I really don't think it's going back down because my goal was always to be, a director of sales and marketing of a certain size hotel, which I achieved. So that was the optimal for me, right? So doing the general manager thing was, I got caught up in someone else's dream is what it comes down to. But anyway, we ain't got time for all that. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I do want to thank somebody. I say on these things that you can never thank people enough for what they do. Just when you think that, they're not going to follow up with you and then you get surprised. One thing I always talk about is when salespeople go to trade shows or we have appointments with them during these trade shows, they don't follow up, right? Not consistently, not 100%. Okay, so, and I made mention, I don't know, about a month ago when I had gone on one of the last conferences that I attended, and I had say 22 appointments over 2 days or something like that, and I had only received a message or email or a call from maybe 7 out of the 22, which is that's not a good percentage, right? you should get more. You should get response from more people than that. But it is what it is, right? So just yesterday, not that I counted everybody out, you know what I mean, but yesterday I get something in the mail, and it was rather peculiar because it came in a package, and I didn't know what the package was, nor did I recognize the label, you know, where it came from. So when I opened it up, I saw this, right? I got this right here. Can you see that? I know this is green, and I got a green screen in back of me. What it is, I don't know if you can even see that. You can see the logo. You can see the logo right there, right? You can see Salem Convention Center, right? And it's what it is it's a plant. It's a plant that they mail, right? So you can't see it because, like I said, I have a green screen in back of me. It says white pine. It's a white pine plant. I thought that was pretty darn cool. So I have to thank them for, you know, formally, I got to thank them, right? So I'm thanking Salem Convention Center, which is in Oregon, Salem, Oregon. So I want to thank them for sending this because it was not expected. It caught me off guard, and they don't know this, but I'm big on being outside and planting and growing. You know, I do my own yard. I do all this kind of stuff. So I have shrubbery outside. I'm going to plant this thing probably tomorrow, right? So this was, like I said, this was something that was unexpected. It came from Chrissy Birch, Bertsch, Birch. I'm going to say Birch. Let's just say that. Chrissy Birch. So I met with her. I had an appointment with her during IPAC, and that was a couple months ago in Memphis. So she sent this. So this is great. So when I plant this, guess who I'll think about whenever I go out there and water my yard or water this plant? I'm gonna think about, you know, Salem Convention Center. There you go. I mean, and Chrissy. So that's what it's all about, right? It's creating that kind of that wow moment. Because like I said, she didn't know that I was into plants and things like that. And like I said, this is a white pine. The white pine won't grow. You know, it kind of looks like a Christmas tree when it's in full growth, but it doesn't grow that fast, right? So I think it doesn't start really growing until like 10 years from now. So I don't have anything to worry about. It's not going to be the size of that palm tree that's in back of me, right? But it's just interesting. So I appreciate when people do stuff like that. And then, like I said, just when you think that people have forgot about you, hey, Lonnie Wolf, you know, they actually send things, and you know, so there you go. So I appreciate that. I really do. So I forgot to mention that I appreciate, you know, comments and people coming on and being engaging in the conversation if you want to, right? So Lonnie Wolf just basically just chimed on. Lonnie Wolf is out there in Florida. He's all about housekeeping. Follow him on LinkedIn, and I'm live on LinkedIn and live on YouTube. So follow Lonnie Wolf, and you can see exactly what he does as far as housekeeping is concerned. He's cleaning hotels, or what do you call it? Consulting with cleaning hotels, one hotel at a time, right? So we need to check him out. He just posted something. I got it this morning. So he posted something about the laundry room and things like that. So make sure you guys pay attention to that stuff, because this stuff is very important. And a lot of hotels, we don't pay as close of attention to cleanliness as we should. Even if it's not in a guest area, if it's in a back of the house area, it's just as important, if not more important, that we're, you know, paying attention to the cleanliness of our hotels in the back of the house areas, because we have employees back there, right? So we want to make sure it's clean for them. You know, I mean, you got to think about that. There are internal customers or internal guests. Okay, so remember that. So, but anyway, just wanted to thank once again, Salem Convention Center for that. I do appreciate you. And then just one other thing I want to go over. You know, I always got to go over something, right? I just can't come on here and just talk just to be talking. But digital marketing and social media. You guys know I'm a big proponent of social media and digital marketing and things like that, because if you follow me at all, you know I do a lot of postings. I do content creating, which right now I'm creating content, of course. And why do I do it so much? I mean, first of all, you want to get your name out there, right? So I'm Russell of Hotels, right? So I want to let people know that this is me, and you know, I mentioned some of the things that I do, and based on what you need help with, some of the things I can help you with, right? So if you're a meeting planner, or maybe you work for a company that plans meetings, but that's not your sole function, maybe you need somebody to assist you with that. So those are things. I mean, I just said I do hotel site selection, where I assist companies and organizations with finding, that right hotel within their budget, or whatever that is, to find it, plan it, contract negotiation, pricing negotiation. If you need 10 breakouts, I got 500 people, and you got to feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we got breakouts and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, those are things that we do. Those are things that I do. So that solves a problem for you, right? Because your problem is, I just got handed this meeting that I got to do. I've never done that before. I need some assistance with that. So there you go. That's the problem that you have, and I'm trying to help you with that problem. So those are kind of things that I do. But anyway, getting back to the digital marketing thing, and someone's calling me right now, but I have to call. I got to call them back. So digital marketing and social media. Okay, it evens the playing field. Okay, these are some of the things that I love about social media. Right, it evens the playing field. So me being small little Russell of Hotels can compete. Not necessarily that I'm looking to compete with anybody, but what I mean is I can compete and put my information out there just like anyone else can, right? So even some big marketing firms, they can do it. I can do the same things that they can do. I can reach just as many people as they can reach, okay? So depending on my follow base or whatever, I can reach as many people as they can, right? And because back in the day, when I first started in sales, right, there was no social media. You couldn't do this, right? I would have died. I would have killed for this stuff, right? But you guys have it great now, where you can you control the content that you put out, right? You don't have to go through all these hoops to get it done. You can do it yourself from your phone, right? I do everything. I would say 99% of the things that I do is from my phone. And is it easy? Nah, it wasn't easy at first, but you get used to it, and it was easy now. Yeah. So it evens the playing field. So you can compete or do the same things that the big companies that do as well. It's cost effective. Does it cost me anything to do? No, it doesn't cost me. Well, maybe a little bit, because there's certain platforms that I use for the my graphics and things like that. So it does cost something, but it's very minimal, right? It's very minimal for me to create a piece, a marketing piece or a promo piece or whatever. So it is very cost effective, and you reach a larger audience. Just like it supports your sales efforts. And I always relate everything to hotel sales, right? Because that's where I come from, right? So you do the things, there's always going to be time when you have to, press the flesh or meet people and, shake hands and kiss babies and all that kind of stuff. You have to do that, right? You have to, go to trade shows and things like that. Well, this is the part that supports that, right? So, because you can't just live on one thing alone, right? You have to have other things that are going to balance it out. So when you're not doing these meetings and you're not having lunch with someone, you need to have something to balance it out, to let people know that you are still there. You can have a presence without being present, okay? Yeah, that's the buzzword for me, right? That's the buzz phrase. Be present have a presence without being present, okay? So there you go. If that makes sense, it should make sense to somebody. But anyway, so you can reach a larger audience consistently. The more you post, the more people are going to see, the more your audience is going to grow larger. And who's to say that they won't even share that content? And if they share the content, then that's how it explodes, right? If you do these lives and you do lives with other people that may have a bigger following than you, that's how it explodes, right? So it's a lot of things you can do to be creative. And remember this, what the heck is your competition doing? They ain't even thinking about this, okay? So you got a leg up on your competition because they're not doing it. I guarantee you they're not doing it. That hotel across the street that you always compete with, that you lose stuff to, or maybe don't lose to, it comes down to you and them. Start doing more, marketing, more promo, more social media postings, more awareness, and I guarantee you'll start getting, more results, right? Meaning more business. I guarantee that. Any questions at all, you can always reach out. Russell at russellofhotels.com is my email, but just go into my, we're on LinkedIn and YouTube. just message me and I'll get the message. So there you go. There's 2 comments here. So let me just read the Dylan Beaumont. How are you able to assist up and coming resorts with their brand identity online? What kind of question is that, Dylan? Hold on one second. Russell Lonnie Wolf says ROH is the best deal. A hospitality wizard who understands the hotel space from A to Z. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for BOH host next week in opener, big time. Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I do that. Up and coming resorts with brand identity online. Well, to me, it's all about consistency. It's all about putting things out there, Dylan. If you're not doing that at all, then almost anything you'll do will create some type of buzz, right? So I always say just be consistent, whatever you're doing. But the thing of it is starting and beginning. Now, say I had a resort. Let's just say somebody asked me to either take over their social media or take over their whatever, some marketing. Let's just say marketing, whatever. And like I said, what I do supports the other efforts, the direct selling efforts. Okay. And I always say either you're proactive or you're reactive salesperson. You're either a hunter or a gatherer, right? You're either out there shaking the trees and see what falls out, or you're waiting for, the acorns to fall and you gather them and, okay, I got them. Okay. But there's people that will out there shake the tree and grab them and bring them back, right? But in the interim, what can you do to get the name out there, get your word out there? Get involved in more social media postings. Okay, so yeah, there's a right and wrong way to do things. There's a strategy involved in it as well. So you don't just throw things out there and hopefully it sticks, right? But there is a method to that, and some of those things that we got to talk about. But for the most part, you do want to continue. You do want to start posting. You got to start somewhere, right? So you want to start posting things about, not necessarily just about your hotel, but what's going on within the hotel. Tell a story. What's the story about your hotel? It's not about, okay, I'm going to put this out because I need business for this particular day, because that's never going to work, right? Because a lot of times people they do promos for, okay, well, I know Easter's coming up, so I'm going to start posting because I want business for Easter. Well, 9 out of 10 times that's not going to work. So you have to create a story, right? You have a brand story, if you will. Okay, so what's the story about that brand? How did your hotel get started? How long has it been there? Okay, what about some of the people that are there? Sometimes people like to be mentioned, or maybe a quick video. Hey, I'm so and so. I've been here for 25 years and blah blah blah. I do housekeeping, whatever. People start falling in love with them because there's an intimate connection. They have a connection with someone, a personal connection. And that's what you want. You want to kind of personalize everything. That hotel, that's this grand building or whatever that people are intimidated to go in because it's a 4-diamond hotel. Break it down, right? Break it down. And basically, there's people that operate the hotel, right? Because that's what people will connect with people. They don't connect with the building. They connect with the people. So involve if you can. And I know sometimes people are hesitant to do that. But yeah, of course, you got to ask questions. You got to do all that stuff. Is it okay for you to do this? Can we have you involved in this? Because you'll be amazed how if your employees are happy, they will help you sell the heck out of your property. They will, right? They will get involved however you want them to get involved. So my advice would be, if I'm on property, if I ever go back on property again, I'm getting people involved in all the social media postings that I do. Because why, you may ask that? It's because the people that is to make the difference. It's all about that connection, that personal connection that people will have with other people. That feeling of a hospitality doesn't come from the building, it comes from the people, okay? So, and if you can tell a story about those people, even more better. Or if you can tell a story even about the hotel or the area that the hotel is in, right? There's a lot of things that are going on within your community that people will gravitate and people will have an interest in as well. So it's not always just about the physical building, I've got a room. Because remember, the people across the street, that hotel across the street that you compete with, they got rooms too. And guess what? They got restaurants and they serve food, okay? And they got sheets on their beds too. But what's the difference though? And they could be clean. They're all clean, right? Everything's clean. So all things equal, the difference is the people. And you want to make sure that, and I know I'm beating that to death, but it's important. You got to hear this. It's the people that make the biggest difference in the world when you're doing marketing and things like that. And I think that's where a lot of people forget or they miss the boat, is that involve more people in there and tell their story. And then people, I guarantee you, people will gravitate towards that. So that would be my advice if I was, to answer Dylan's question. Okay, Lonnie Wolf says, hi, Dylan Beaumont, my man, a big shout out on your recent award for IHI. Super proud of you, of your hospitality passion, dedication, and insight post. Yes, Dylan does a great job of that. Yeah, shout out to Dylan on that. He got an award at International Hospitality Institute. Dylan's one of those. He's a thought leader. Okay, he makes you. He gives these thoughtful, things, and provokes you to think more and to apply what he's talking about and all those kind of things. So I do appreciate Dylan for that, and he always gives me questions to ask and answer as well. So Russell, the people ROI on your team. Thank you, Lonnie Wolf. I appreciate that. But anyway, I do this show called On Air with Russell of Hotels. Comes on every Tuesday at 1:00 here in Los Angeles. So make sure you join that as well. It's live here on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. I do these live. These are lives, right? I do this live on every day, Monday through Friday, right? So today's Friday, so of course I'll do it. I don't do these necessarily on the weekend, but I do them. I do them Monday through Friday, various times. But if you're on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button and you'll get a notification anytime I go live. So there you go. But anyway, I hope that information was good for someone. Like I said, you always want to be consistent. You always want to add value to a conversation, and you always want to have fun, right? So, it's not about being serious all the time, although some of these topics could be serious, and especially if you got goals at the end of the month, right? But you got to do things differently, right? You can't do what everyone else is doing, right? So, and I think that's where we get caught up. If you're an independent hotel, that's the value is in your independence, okay? Meaning you're able to do things that the brands can't do, right? Because the brands have to wait for a lot of different, things in order for them to do certain things. But as an independent hotel, I think you're able to do a little bit more, because I work with independent hotels too. They're able to do a little bit more, able to be a lot more creative and an independent thinker. And that's some of the things that I love about working with independent hotels opposed to brands, because with brands you have brand standards and things like that you have to deal with, right? So, and I understand that and I respect that as well. But independent hotels, don't try to conform and be like the brands, okay? Your value is in your independence, and you're an independent thinker, and you can do things without, getting the act of God, in the way. So there you go. Let's see. Dylan says, and occasional hotel news and tours. Okay, I don't get that one, but anyway, okay. You guys have a great day. Thank you again. Once again, Russell of Hotels. I'm going to do this. It's called the Daily Check-In. Okay, and every now and then I'll come up with some things to talk about, and I can always make these things disappear. See, that's the beauty of Ecamm Live, where you can make things, once you talk about them, you can make them disappear. So, and then I can play my music too. I think that's why I do this, because I want to be able to play my music and stuff like that. So once again, thank you for Salem Convention Center for giving me this beautiful plant. I'm going to plant this, and I'm going to make sure I show it. I'll make sure I post this. Okay. All right. So once again, thank you again. It's a white palm plant. So they didn't forget about me. And I'm sure they send this to other people as well. But salespeople, make sure you follow up. Whoever you had an appointment with at these trade shows, when you get back to your office, make sure you follow up. If that's via a phone call, if that's via email, whatever, just make sure you stay in communication with them. Because that's what you're there to do anyway, right? And you're there to follow up, just to make sure, you didn't forget anything, that they have a program that can fit in your hotel or your destination or whatever. So just make sure we follow up. Because to be honest with you, I'm not getting a lot of that, and it's kind of concerning that we spend all this money to go to these trade shows, and you also pay for people like me to go, right? Because I get hosted, right? So someone has to pay for it, and a lot of times it's coming from the hotel because you have to pay a registration fee, right? So make sure you're getting the best return on your investment is what I'm trying to say, right? So that's it. You guys have a great day. Peace.